We're used to thinking that history's greatest evils were committed by sword-wielding warriors or mad emperors. But true horror can wear the face of an ordinary official with a seal in his hand. Thomas Cromwell, the son of a drunken blacksmith who rose from the filth of London streets to become the most dangerous man in 16th century England. A man who didn't just rule a country, he broke its back across his knee, turning the lives of millions into dry statistics in his ledgers. Cromwell was the architect of a system where fear became the primary tool for governing English society. He had no army, but he had information. It was he who created the first large-scale spy network on the islands, where informants became a duty and silence was a sign of treason. Under his command, the walls of houses began to have ears, and every careless word in a tavern or church could be a person's last. He was called the Hammer of Monks, and the nickname was well earned. With a single stroke of his pen, Cromwell destroyed what had stood in England for centuries. Over 800 monasteries were wiped off the face of the earth, their treasures looted, and their sanctuaries desecrated. This wasn't a matter of faith. It was a cold-blooded robbery of a nation, where those who resisted were simply hanged along the roads as a vivid reminder of the power of his law. His primary weapon was the manipulation of British justice. He was a master of legal murder, using trials as a theatre where the verdict was known before the session even began. He sent former friends and allies to the executioner's block with the same cold calm with which he signed household reports. For Cromwell, morality did not exist, only efficiency and absolute control. But the irony of fate was that the machine of terror he so carefully built under the London sky eventually devoured its creator. The man who had crossed out hundreds of lives was himself crossed out of history by a single short order. He was executed on Tower Hill without a trial, just as he had once punished others. It is said that his death was longer and more painful than others because the executioner failed to sever his head on the first attempt, turning the execution into a bloody spectacle. Thomas Cromwell is gone, but he left behind a state built on espionage and total submission. His story is vivid proof that a bureaucrat in a clean office can be far more bloodthirsty than any executioner. Was he a brilliant politician, or simply a monster who enjoyed power over others' lives? But political games in the shadows of palaces are just one dark corridor of our archive. What other horrifying secrets does the history of those who ruled from the darkness hide? Subscribe so you don't miss the next shocking facts. And remember, the truth is always worse than you imagined.